Hello everybody, and this is my 2016 Rocky Mountain Blizzard 10 review. I bought this bike mainly to use it in the winter as a winter commuter to work, so I can bike in the snow and stay fit. Haven't tried that out yet because I just got this bike and snow hasn't fallen yet, so I'll have to do a snow review later on. I did try it on dry pavement as a commuter, and not really practical. I mean, the 24T chainring is really small on this 9-speed bike, so you're not going to go very fast on the road if you like to go fast. Other than that, the tires, they're very loud on the road and very noisy, and just not practical for a commuter. So if you're buying this bike hoping to cruise around the street on pavement, nah, I wouldn't buy it for that. I did try it on sand by the beach, very nice. It does ride on sand just fine. I'm running the tires at about 10 to 11 psi. I don't like it any lower than that because then the auto steer really pulls. You can really feel it with these tires. I do not have any durability issues with these tires, but I do avoid those very narrow, sharp, woody things that stick out of the ground that used to be small trees, I think. I avoid those if I can, but no punctures yet, so far so good. There have been complaints about these TEKTRO brakes on this bike. They're basic. I mean, honestly, I think all mechanicals, they work the same, right? You pull the lever, it pulls the cable, it squeezes the pad against the other pad. I think with any mechanical setup, I think it's absolutely paramount that you not only align the caliper properly so that there's minimal bend in the rotor, since mechanicals, they don't have dual pistons, so you're going to bend the rotor one way or another, so try and minimize the bend. But I think people forget to bed in their brakes when they first get their bike. I bedded in these brakes, and honestly, they work fine. I can lock out the back wheel, no problem. I've never had to use 2 fingers to brake. I haven't been able to endo the front wheel yet, but I mean, the rotors are pretty small. They're only 160 millimeter, so I would definitely upgrade those for sure. But for now, it's fine. The saddle is fine. Saddle is personal preference. It's not too hard. It's not too soft. I think it's just right, and I like a small saddle. It makes the bike more nimble. So this saddle is just fine for me. I like the 70 millimeter stem. This is really nice. Seems very nice quality. And the bars, the design's really nice. These bars are 720 or 730, can't remember. If there is one thing I would change on this bike right away, it's the grips. I had to put on lock-ons because the ones that came on the bike, they were comfortable, but they were turning inwards, they were screwing in, and I was getting like this much bar. So as I was mountain biking for the first time on this bike, I was going from like 720 or 730 down to like 690, 680, and you know, it's just, yeah, so I would just replace the grips right away on this bike. I don't know, people have complained a lot about this bike. You know, I've read on forums, and a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like the tires. You have to keep in mind that this is a entry-level, you know, pretty much a budget fat bike. I was gonna go for like one of those like Canadian Tire or Walmart Dolomite or Schwinn Big DLX bikes, but I decided to fork out a little more money and get this, and I'm quite happy with it. I also slapped on some Spank Uzi pedals because the ones that came with the bike were just those crappy, you know, really tiny, you know, crappy pedals. And the grips, that's all I've changed on this bike. The brakes are very noisy. I think they did state that there are resin pads, but I think they're metallic because I know resin pads don't make squealy wheelie noises. But I'll find out when I need to change the pads. Very noisy, very squealy, but they work just fine, as mentioned before. The drivetrain is very basic. SHIMANO ALTUS, you know, 9-speed. Cassette is 1236. Works just fine. Climbing, I have no issues. I don't feel like it needs any more or any less gears. It's not like it needs to go any faster. It's very hard to keep a bike going, a fat bike going fast. You have to give up the dream that you're going to go as fast on your fat bike as you are, you know, as you would on your trail bike. It's just not going to happen unless you're going downhill. Going downhill on this bike is great. It's a lot of fun. It's like a freight train. Again, the brakes, they work just fine. I'm in Toronto, so I ride the Dawn trails, Motown, Secret Hidden Trail, Vietnam, you know, Ridge, the flats. Everything's just fun on this bike. It's just great. You know, Potty Road, downhill, just great. Everything's fun. Now keep in mind that because it is an entry-level fat bike, these are quick releases here. So you don't want to be like jumping off of really big stuff with this bike. I wouldn't anyway. I've jumped off of stuff like, you know, a foot, foot and a half, maybe 2 feet at most. I wouldn't push it past that. Also, the fork is 6061 aluminum. I don't know how durable that really is. I remember bending a Canadian Tire fork back in the day. So, you know, but so far so good. Everything's fine. I have been rough with this bike a little bit. I have put it through the test, and it has passed. So, what would I honestly upgrade on this bike if I am going to upgrade anything? Well, the drivetrain, as basic as it is, it does work just fine. So, I mean, until I smash it or break it or it wears out, I'm probably going to keep that. I will probably replace the shifter though. The shifter, when you're shifting down, or shifting up, sorry, it just takes, you gotta push it like all the way back for it to go, you know, 2 or 3 times. And sometimes you just feel this gap. I think it's just, you know, because it's a budget shifter. I think it's an ALTUS shifter. So I might just replace that just for better, you know, more efficient shifting, quicker response shifting. For the long haul, what I do plan to do is to make this bike lighter, because it's not like heavy, but it's not light. It's got some light tubes. I forget the name, but there are some light tubes you can get out there, and a carbon fiber handlebar, maybe a carbon fiber seat post. Get a lighter crank, and I think that's it. Oh, and get carbon fiber levers, because I'm probably going to stick with mechanicals. I might go hydraulics. I don't have anything against hydraulics. It's just, I think for all weather and maintenance and all that and salt, I think I'll just stick to mechanicals, and to get carbon fiber levers for weight savings, because I am definitely a weight weenie. So the rims are 95 millimeter. They're huge. I don't know if a smaller fat bike tire would really fit well with these rims. These juggernauts measure out at, they're actually rated 4.5, but they're close to like 4.7. And, you know, I like how huge they are. I love it. It does, you know, there's a learning curve on how to steer this bike, but once you get it down, it's a lot of fun. Long term, I will definitely switch out to better tires, maybe like a 120 TPI dual compound, or just something with a little more confidence that, you know, if you hit something prickly, you know, you'll be okay. So, all in all, do I recommend this bike? Should you buy it? Yes, I really think it's worth the money if you can get it for under $1,000 especially. Just keep in mind it is an entry-level fat bike, and not to go too nuts on it, but you can go nuts on it. Just remember, you got those quick releases, keep them tight, and, you know, have fun. Thank you for watching.